Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast. I am your host, Jan Washington. This is a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. I would like to extend my gratitude in you listening to this podcast. It means everything to me, and I hope it is clear that this subject matter is so important to me. I care about our people, our future, and making a positive change in this nation. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast. And this episode is especially for the content creators of Color Challenge. And on this episode, I want to talk about a story out of Virginia that I have been seeing about an African American family out of Virginia. The mother, Janique Martinez, had been on a few different programs, Roland Martin's show and Don Lemon's show on CNN, talking about her family experiencing a lot of harassment coming from her very own neighbor. She says that the neighbor is blaring music recordings, which include monkey noises and racial slurs anytime her family steps out of their house, and it scares her children. She has a young child of 7 years old who is terrified of the neighbor, and in addition, the neighbor yells at the children when they step on the yard, when they're outside playing. She mentions that when they open the door, the neighbor flashes their lights, or there's loud speakers. And the troubling thing about all of this is that she's being told by the authorities when she reports this harassment is that there's nothing that she can do. There's nothing that the police can do. Very little that can be done. So I'm going to play a clip so that you can get an idea of what is occurring.
So imagine moving your family into your dream home to start a new life, only to find yourself subjected to nonstop harassment from your new neighbor. That's what a black family in Virginia Beach has been living with. They describe an escalating campaign of racial slurs, loud music, and monkey noises. So, yep, a black family moves in and the neighbor tries to drive them out with monkey noises. Local police say while the behavior is appalling, it is not criminally actionable.
Isn't that bizarre? Listening to that music, it reminds me of that Amazon series called Them. I don't know if you've seen that show before or not, but it's about a family that had to deal with racism and behavior just like this from their neighbors. They had to deal with neighbors who would play music just like this, and neighbors that would sit outside and stare at them and hang things up outside and basically try to drive them out of their neighborhood. But it was set in a different time period. It was set in a time period of 1960 something, where we're talking about a story that is going on in October of 2021. So it's really interesting how, the effects of racism still occur and impact us, but I really feel that greater is coming and that we can get past these types of behaviors. So, but I wanted to go back to the efforts that they try to make with the authorities. And so the Virginia Beach Magistrate office told them that there's nothing that they can do. And so the Virginia Beach Police issued a statement stating that the neighbor's behavior, while appalling and offensive, that the multiple nuisance and loud music complaints, they have no authority to intervene, and warrants were not supported. They also stated that they would monitor and help as long as it's within the limits of the law. Well, I saw a story that community leaders and I guess some people who saw the story and were impacted, and they staged their own peaceful protests, just some concerned neighbors, and they marched right up to the house of the neighbor that was doing this, and they had their signs and they had bullhorns, and they staged a peaceful protest, and they went up there, and they it was really neat. If you go on YouTube, you can see what they did, and they had signs that love is stronger than hate and things like that, and they drove him crazy for a couple of hours. And so, but it's just kind of sad that there's nothing legally that can be done. I've seen a few stories where there's some attorneys out there offering their services if the family wants to pursue it further, but it looks like legally there's nothing that can technically be done just for the music, since he has not harmed them physically. It appears that that's the threshold, that this is just harassment as far as music, and it's just really kind of unfair to this family that has to deal with this type of abuse from a neighbor. Maybe if they continue with the protest to stand up to this guy, maybe that will be the way to go. I admire this family and support them, and feel that they definitely should not let this person bully them out of their home. They moved here, they worked hard, and they deserve to be happy and enjoy their home just like anyone else. So we will stay with this story. I have a feeling there will be additional updates to share. So I appreciate you guys listening.